So now let's jump into this annotated analysis of Man of Action's answers to your questions. So the first question is, can omnipotent beings like celestial sapiens survive anything like Anur Validus, probably gonna mispronounce that for like the rest of the video, omniversal destruction, timeline destruction, etc.? And can celestial sapiens make themselves omniscient and omnipresent if they agreed? The question, would celestial sapiens be able to survive in such a place? To which they said, it's like the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. Celestial sapiens have almost godlike powers and they can agree on something, but Anura Valdius is an aberration in the known universe. It's like anti-life. So one celestial sapien pulled into the Valdius' grip would definitely perish. But if a group of celestial sapiens got together and were able to agree internally and externally to combat the planet, they would all be able to survive. The answer is the same for omniversal and timeline destruction. If the celestial sapiens were aware that either was coming and formed a group that could agree in advance to bond their power, they would survive. If they were not aware of the impending threat of destruction, they would not be able to agree in advance and would be undone by either phenomenon. This answer makes things interesting. As we've already seen, Alien X is able to automatically survive the destruction of the universe without even trying. So something inside of the universe being able to automatically kill Alien X seems a bit broken. They say Anur Valdius is an aberration, but it doesn't go beyond that. While that leaves a lot of room for speculation, it also doesn't mean anything speculated can be treated as absolute. But I'm gonna do my best. We all know that the Omnitrix gives Ben and his transformation some advancements, like fitness, life support, and universal communication, unless you're Wildmutt. And as I've stated in other videos, the Omnitrix gives Ben the primest example of their species. Perhaps Alien X specifically is able to have universal level durability by default. The Man of Action answer goes over celestial sapiens as a population rather than Ben's actual feats, in which Ben would be able to do things to the maximum extent. Plus, it's agreed that celestial sapiens could survive if they decided to. And if Alien X is the absolute best a celestial sapien can be, it's not hard to believe he could survive Anur Valdius alone. But they even go so far to say that this works on an omniversal level. So remember when I speculated that Ben could survive the Chrono Sapien time bomb if he knew what it was? Well, just, hang on. I was right. But let's not forget that this was a two-parter question. They were also asked if celestial sapiens could make themselves omniscient or omnipresent. Part 2 of your question is bigger, but simpler. Celestial sapiens could indeed try to become omniscient, but since they are also aware of the enormous expenditure of power necessary to achieve an omniscient state could damage the universe, other celestial sapiens would intervene and prevent this ascension to omniscient status. Now, let me break down what this means. Celestial sapiens all have their own laws and regulation over the omniverse. We only got a taste of those laws with the whole multiversal preservation action dig, but it was enough to know that the celestial sapiens like to keep tabs on what everyone's up to. Recreating the universe at a scale that Ben did was against their code. Ben was still able to do it, but it was illegal by their terms. So this means Alien X is physically able to become omniscient. It's not like he isn't capable of unless the council agrees. What this means is that if Ben tries, the others would be like, you know, you really shouldn't do that. Whatever the power scaling term is for it. So he can automatically tank a universal level attack without even like realizing that it happened. And then Ben recreated the entire universe. Now, let me get a little specific about this. There was this one video I did with Seth the programmer and Chuck was giving this example about how the universe was like a vase and it broke, and Alien X like put the pieces back together but didn't do it quite right. I didn't really catch that even though I was there. Or else, like, now that I've given it more thought, I can see how that's incorrect. As it's stated in the series, the original universe is gone, like completely gone, like vaporized. What Ben did was he created an exact duplicate of everything. As best that he could, at least. So technically his original family, friends, all of them, they're all dead. They're gone. Ben just like created an artificial duplicate to function as if nothing ever happened. But anyway, think about recreating the entire universe. Like how complicated those thoughts must be. Like people's most innermost personalities must be replicated. Think about all the people Ben never even met. How could you think to recreate that? I used this example before, but like if somebody had a secret and they didn't tell Ben, does the secret still exist since Ben didn't know about it? How did he think to recreate it? Like he had to remake the physics of that universe. He at least got all the major stuff right. Like forget the smoothie color. Like he got the size and the rotation of the Earth correct, whatnot, so that it was seemingly perfect. I mean, Ben recreated an exact duplicate of a hit squad against him that he had no idea even existed. Like that's talent. That's But now I'm going to have to talk about Atomic X for a little bit because everyone's going to go crazy if I don't, even though he technically doesn't count. So, Ben 10,000, Ben's future self, came back in time to help Ben and all the other Bens at a Ben war and all that, and he used this fusion called Atomic X, which is Alien X and Atomics. Ben's objectively most strongest aliens fused together because that would be a sick action figure. And Vilgax uses this bomb that's programmed to erase all the Bens not from the universe they're currently in. And Alien X gets erased. So it's like, okay, so Alien X can take a universe level explosion, but not a multiversal level explosion. There's a couple reasons why that wouldn't be true. For one, Paradox survived, including all of the past versions of Ben and Gwen that were about to get destroyed in the future inside of a pocket dimension. That's something that Alien X is more than capable of doing. Ben's probably never even heard of a time bomb before, and regardless of his powerful capabilities, he's still Ben. So perhaps if he knew he was going up against the time bomb, he wouldn't have ran up and punched it like it was like an object or something. He could have hit himself in a pocket dimension, or like the Annihilar, he can go back in time from before it exploded or make it so that it never existed and all of that.